that the idea of a flock of birds moving around an object in flight looks so choreographed, it looks so beautiful and so planned, and yet it isn't. It's really just rudimentary communication among individuals in real time, allowing them to behave and move as one. And that's what was happening with Twitter. And we were emboldened by that, and we started working on it. And then things started to happen all around the world. People began to use Twitter, as Stephen was saying, during geopolitical unrest in certain areas. There was one student actually who left UC Berkeley to go to Egypt to photograph protests as part of his thesis, and he kept missing the protests. And he asked his friends in Egypt, "How is it that you know where to go and where to organize?" And they said, "We're using this tool called Twitter." And so he joined, and suddenly he was plugged in. He was in the know, and he was able to show up on time to get these wonderful photos. But he was arrested with the protesters, and he was scared, and he didn't know what to do. And he was thrown into the back of a car, and they had not taken his mobile from him. So he twittered one word, and the word was arrested. And his friends back home in Berkeley were following his Twitter updates, and they knew what the situation was, so they called the dean, and the dean called the lawyer, and the lawyer called the consulate, and 2 hours later this young man sent out another one-word tweet, which was freed. And after that we saw people using it all over the world to help each other during events like wildfires and earthquakes and fuel shortages. They were using Twitter to come together and help one another. And one of the things that is so inspiring to hear Professor Mitra talk about, a friend of mine asked me, what do you hope to achieve? What is it that you're trying to do with Twitter? And what do you hope people will say in 5 to 10 years' time about it? And what struck me was, what I hope they'll say is that it doesn't matter how sophisticated the algorithms get or how many machines we add to the network. Ultimately, we hope this will be a triumph of humanity, not a triumph of technology. So, as Professor Mitra was saying, the technology is the easy part, it's the simple part. It's what people will do with it that's so impressive, and overwhelmingly what they do with it is good. And our sort of driving belief at Twitter is that the open exchange of information can lead to positive global impact. So the sharing of knowledge and the exchange of information can actually make the world better. And to break